Welcome to the 2022 Kentucky Bourbon Festival and the first edition of the Bourbon 30 Talk Show. This is sponsored by Great Western Malting. Am I on? There we go. That's always a wonderful professional line to lead with. Am I on? Is my mic on? Didn't that just build trust? Welcome to the Kentucky Bourbon Festival. I had to pause for a second. After 14 of these interviews, I actually had to pause and think, Bourbon Festival. We're a little tired, but we've been happy doing this, man. It's a blast. My name is Steve Coombs. I'm the Director of Content and Programming for the Bourbon Festival. And we talk about a lot of stuff up here. And I was surprised to actually find out Thursday night that we have some real news to talk about other than the bourbon industry. And we have an ancillary product to talk about, a new hotel that's coming. Tell us all about it. Tell us who you are and tell us what you're going to name it.
Well, Steve, thanks for having me up here. My name is Will Hardy, and I just want to give a shout out. What an amazing festival, right, guys? Let's give a round of applause. This has been going on for many, many years, but I'm telling you, the level of excellence in the service, and give a shout out to you, Steve, and
Thanks.
Of course my dear friend David Mandel for all of his hard work in transforming this community and this event. Yeah.
He's the board chair.
As well as Randy and Jennifer and the rest of the team. So, guys, thank you. Seriously, this has been an amazing, amazing festival. So yeah, we got some exciting things going on.
Yeah, we were talking the other night. You were giving me a little bit of a look into it. And by the way, it's Will Hardy, just in case, and Hardy Boys.
The Hardy Boys.
He was quick with that line the other night.
Well, I had
I was like, Harding? What is it? Anyway, I'm so excited to hear about this hotel because it's something that Bardstown desperately needs.
Yeah.
Is more hotel rooms. It's it's a difficult place for people like you guys who want to invest in such properties.
Yeah.
And there's always, tourism goes up and down, but it seems bourbon is really kind of staying high and on a nice plateau. Yeah. And so you guys decided to get in, and you're gonna. Well, you just tell the story.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously, like you said, hospitality has not been one of the greatest investments over the last couple of years, as you can imagine. But my wife and I, we've been in real estate development for the last 18 years. I'm actually originally from Bullitt County, Kentucky, right around the corner. And my great-great-grandfather, George William Hardy I, was married right here on the courthouse steps in the 1800s and sort of built his first business here. And I just found that out recently, actually. And moved off, went to Eastern Kentucky University, went from there to California to do some work out there, and then off to Atlanta for the last 18 years, married with 4 kids. And so real estate has been sort of our thing. And but I never thought I'd be coming back home. And so it's been real special, this whole journey, to see how it's all transpired and how it's laid out. And again, like most investors, always looking for a good opportunity. And I'll tell you where this started for me is born and raised here, never had been on the trail. I was 36 years of age, and I had buddies, just started really drinking bourbon. And I had some big guys across the world that wanted me to put a trip together. And they were like, well, you're from Kentucky. Make it happen.
You should know.
I was like, you should know what to do. And I was like, I got this, And so, believe it or not, as I started diving into it deeper, I was like, this is actually a really difficult process, to put this together. And so I spent about 2.5 days, like 15 hours later, like trying to design all the tours, the tastings, going online, trying to figure out where we wanted to do, transportation involved, restaurants, shuttles, and all this kind of thing. And my wife and I, we really have a place for hospitality that's near and dear to us. We've been very big in the short-term rental space with Airbnbs and Verbo, and so we're very familiar with that niche, and we just love concierge, and we love hospitality, and we love excellence, And so right then I was just like, you know what? It's hard to imagine that it took me that long to come up with a concept on how to make this excellent for my friends, and of course they had no idea. They just showed up and had this great time, but it's little things like, hey, we really want to go to Maker's Mark, and then, oh, by the way, we want to hit up Buffalo Trace, and it's like, well, you don't realize that's an hour away,
Right.
And there's a process behind putting the tours together and the tastings and the shuttle between and, getting guys on the trail or even girls on the trail drinking all day. It's like herding cats, right? So to meet all these different demands and dilemmas, it's pretty difficult. So I was like, you know what? There's a need in this community. And about a little over a year ago, my wife and I, we decided just really honestly out of burnout and fatigue, We had flipped over 1,200 pieces of real estate in Atlanta over the last 18 years.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, you know what? We need to take a break. We need to recharge. We've got 4 amazing kids. Our oldest son is a senior this year. And I said, so we're going to take some time off and we're going to go to Antigua. We're going to reset, recalibrate, and see what the next vision is going to be. And I promised her I'd take off 6 months. It lasted 10 days. We're on the beach. And a good friend of mine, Joe Edmonds, who reached out to me by email, said, hey, man, I'm not trying to interrupt your retreat out there, but I think there's a real
But
opportunity.
I'm going to do it anyway.
Yeah, but I'm going to do it anyways. And he said, man, there's an old abandoned hotel. It's the Holiday Inn. It was built in 1970. It's right off the Bluegrass Parkway. It's in Bourbon country. And I think this could be, an awesome opportunity. Would you look at it with me? So, of course, without telling my wife, I opened up the email. I'm scrolling through the information. And I mean, like, just something leapt inside of me. And I don't know if it was just bringing me back to my home roots or really the whole struggle that I had 6 years ago, that there's a need in this community,
right,
and it's not being fulfilled. And so I jumped on it. I said, man, let's contract this. I said, let's put a long due diligence on it. I can't even look at it right now. And about 45 days later, I flew back home, and we looked at it. And the minute I walked on the property, I was like, we're sitting on a gold mine right here. And so
what I mean, it's a very humble spot. What made you think that you're sitting on the gold mine?
I don't know. I don't know if it's the intuition of just my faith. I don't know if it's intuition of just knowing real estate the way I do. But I just saw the
location. It's a great location.
It's all about
right?
location. And, of course, you see the heart of Bardstown, the bourbon capital of the world. And I'm obviously very near and dear to this community, and it means a lot to me. And to me, these are the best people on the planet. And what these distilleries are accomplishing right now, and how the growth is being, just the demand of the growth, and how the industry is continually growing, like you said. So many other markets over the last couple of years have gone down, and yet bourbon somehow keeps right, continually growing. So with all those pieces in mind, we looked at this from just a real estate perspective, and we started diving in on the due diligence, deciding on, is this going to be a property that we bulldoze to the ground? It really had a good structure, but, it was built in 1970. And, it was about 65,000 square feet, the way that it's set, is the property with 107 rooms. And we were also thinking, man, but through due diligence, we might end up bulldozing this, building from the ground up, starting from scratch. And I'll tell you what really, honestly, won our heart more than anything is we started investing in the community, getting to know the people locally, and then it was like story after story started coming out about the importance and the memories about the Holiday Inn. I mean, just talking to your guy over here, right?
Our sound guy used to play there.
Yeah, used to play at the Holiday Inn when that was the happening spot here in Bardstown. And so all the memories, all the experiences of the town, even our close friends, Jane and Jim Roby, who are our neighbors right over here, as they found out we bought the hotel, they were the very first wedding to ever be done at the Holiday Inn in 1970.
That's
and
cool.
So that was great to just see the nostalgia behind it. So we knew at that point that we had a bigger challenge on our hands because there was no way we could tear this down. We had to continue on to build on the legacy that this property has been.
And that makes things slow when you want to work with an historic property, right?
Well, it does. And but from great counsel through some of our friends, John and David and Kim Houston, obviously, Kim here, a part of the community. We were advised that there's some great incentives with tax incentives. And so we started diving down that trail. And we ended up partnering with the Whalen Group, who are good friends that are doing the Motor Lodge right up here in town.
Right.
Yeah. And so they've been a really great asset to the company, and they're going to be running all of our management. So we decided at that point, you know what, we're going to go back and we're going to bring back the nostalgia of what this property was. But the whole goal in mind is to create a higher level of excellence and a concierge experience for this community. The bourbon industry is going leaps and bounds. People from all over the world and even internationally now are sewing into this community. They're coming here, and obviously I'm very partial, We call ourselves, we're no respecter of bourbons. We appreciate everything that everybody has done in this festival, and I love to be a partaker of every tasting. But, to me, it comes back to this is the bourbon capital of the world.
Absolutely.
It started in Bardstown. And so our idea is that how do we keep losing all of this clientele that's coming in, they're spending a day in Bardstown, but because they want a higher end concierge experience, they're finding themselves going out to Louisville or Lexington. And you know what? We want to put a stop to that. We want to keep people right here spending their good money in the heart of bourbon country, and we think we can do that at the Trail Hotel.
So what's the balance of something to be really modern and chic and something that still leans on that 70s kitsch, maybe? Is that what you're aiming for, or are you looking for something to be really bourbon centric, or what?
That's exactly what we're aiming for, and that's a great question.
There's like a whole lot of stuff that you're aiming for, but that I threw out there:
Well,
kitsch, chic, bourbon.
It's been educational. It's been a difficult process, if I'm being 100% honest. But what we're trying to do right now is we're coming back to that mid-century modern flair, which is really cool. That retro concept that's actually coming back right now. And part of that is
Mid-century modern flair.
Yeah.
Spoken like a realtor.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And part of that is
spoken like a guy who doesn't know. Immediately I don't know what that means, but I know that that's just part of what's popular right now.
Well, design is very important to us, and an upper scale design is even more important to us. And so in the give and take balance that we've had to pursue with the historic tax credits, there's obviously a certain parameter that we have to stay within. But at the same time, we keep on pushing the limits a little bit. We keep on coming back with ideas and designs that we think can push out that just a little bit. So here's the funny thing about that. So, by the way, are you over 50 years of age, Steve?
58.
Okay, so you're considered historic now these days. I hate to tell
certainly
you.
according to my 24-year-old.
I hate to tell you that, but never did I think this property would be considered historic. But it's 51 years of age, and you have to be 50 years of age to be considered historic to qualify for this tax credit. And so we have come up with a really amazing plan. We are now turning the entire hotel backwards. We're adding 18,000 square feet on the left-hand side of the hotel. Wow. That's going to be the new indoor-outdoor event center space for weddings and other corporate events, as well as our new lobby, bourbon tasting. We've got something called Bourbon Alley that we're designing between the old structure and the new structure. And we've got a 3,800 square foot restaurant coming in that's going to be state of the art.
Wow.
It's going to be something quite unique to this community. There's a lot of great restaurants in the community, but this is going to be just a flair that gives a little more sexy edge to some of the things that we're trying to go after, as well as an 1,800 square foot spa for the ladies. One of the things that my wife challenged me on is that she wanted just as much feminine energy in this hotel as masculine energy. And so that's really what we started pushing for and fighting for, is that, we wanted to create something special for women as well. And so we got an incredible retail space going in, an amazing state-of-the-art spa. We got something really unique and fun we're doing because we're going all in on bourbon. That's what this hotel is about. The Trail Hotel is a bourbon boutique hotel experience.
And that is the name, the Trail Hotel.
The Trail Hotel, yeah. And so we're creating all of our own in-house shuttle experience. So we're the one-stop shop. So for anybody out there listening, not this time next year, but our grand launch is going to be March of 2024, God willing. And when that happens, we are going to be filling the gap to some of the issues that I experienced 6 years ago when I tried to build that itinerary for my friends. And so when you come and stay at the Trail Hotel, we want to take all the legwork out. We want to take the guessing game out. We want to make your experience easy onto the Bourbon Trail. And so when you become and you participate and you sign up for our hotel and you book a room, we immediately follow up with you and we bring a concierge specialist alongside of you to develop the perfect plan for you while you're here. So the idea is you show up, you drop your keys off, you don't ever drive again, and you jump on our shuttle and we take you to all the wonderful places here in Bardstown to get the best experiences.
Fantastic. That's fantastic.
Yeah. So
to the crowd, does anybody want to throw out an answer? How long overdue is this experience?
Ask that question
Who
again.
thinks it's overdue? Oh, of course you all do. I think it's overdue.
A peanut gallery.
I mean, and I know it's difficult. It's got to take somebody like you with not retail. Man, I'm tongue-tied after all this.
That's okay, buddy. We get it. Real estate
experience to be able to say, I can walk in, I can put a contract on it, I think I can make this work. I mean, did you not do any demographic studies or anything that maybe a chain hotel would do to decide whether this is essential or?
I'm a little more rebellious, I would say, I would say in the ways that I've invested in the past, and a lot of it does come off of intuition. And
experience, I'm sure.
I think that's part of the gift, right? Is that when you can come into an area and you can see something that other people can't see, and see an opportunity. And so, and maybe it was just part of my upbringing and coming back home, and there was a little bit of that play. But just to see, I mean, if you can't come into the heart of Bardstown, Kentucky, and see the excellence and the opportunity here, then quite frankly, I don't know what you're looking at. I mean, to me, that's why I said a gold mine from the beginning. And again, there's been challenges, there's been struggles. We went from a $10 million project to now a $22 million project.
Does that sound familiar, David?
It all works out. Yep. And so that's what we're doing. Let me tell you a fun thing we're doing within the hotel. Because again, no respecter of bourbons, we are hoping to pull people from all over the United States and even internationally to come and
Uh-huh.
be a part of our hotel. And we want to participate in all the other distilleries all across the trail. But again, our passion, our heart is really to drive people and the traffic to the distilleries right here locally in Bardstown. And so we are going to be developing suites within the hotel. We're actually working with our liquor license attorney right now on this, so some of this can't be uncovered yet. But we are going to be choosing 10 distilleries to create suites within the hotel, and it's going to be a branding opportunity to
That's
where
right.
you can actually come and stay at our hotel, and you can be at the Kentucky Owl suite, you can be at the Maker's Mark suite, you can be at the Jim Beam suite, and all of these suites are going to be designed by the distilleries that are
Wow.
going to create that extra experience for the hotel. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
It's a lot of collaboration that's going to be required to get this thing done.
Yeah.
Because usually you guys are the bosses, right? When you're flipping your real estate, and
That's exactly
you're not
right.
asking anybody else.
Oh,
It's going to be interesting for you, I would imagine.
it's so funny you should say that because it's been quite humbling, to be honest with you. And you realize that, with a venture this big, it really does take an army to pull something like this off. And so, with even in our what we'd be called maybe experts in the field of real estate, when you get in the hotel space, it's just a whole different bear. And there's so many more unknowns and
Right.
so many things that get uncovered. And so, again, I'll be honest, if it wasn't for the help of dear friends of this community, other leaders, our partners, we brought in, obviously my partner, Ejo Edmonds, and his
Uh-huh.
wife, April, and they've been, just a huge support and benefit and added so much value. But also, we brought in one investor. His name is Brooke Smith, and he is just doing some amazing things all across the state of Kentucky.
And it makes a quality statement for Brooke. Brooke is one of the investors in Castle and Key.
Yep.
Absolutely gorgeous distillery that shows long-term commitment to a very expensive project. So I
Yep.
would say he's probably all in here.
Man, he
Yeah.
seems super excited about it, and he's been a brother, he's been a friend, and he hasn't taken advantage of a very vulnerable situation, and that means a lot, obviously, in multiple regards. But he's added a ton of value, and he just believes in it. He sees what this can be and what it's going to be, and so when it's all said and done, we're going to be sitting on about 75,000 square feet. We have seven acres of prime real estate right off the Bluegrass Parkway. And then the unfortunate part is this hotel's been abandoned for the last 12, 13 years. And so it does look like, an armpit. It's the eyesore sort of the community, and it's really the gateway into Bardstown, unfortunately.
Right.
So when you come off the Bluegrass Parkway, which is no matter what part you're coming from the trail, you see this dilapidated sort of eyesore, and we want to change that.
Oh,
And
that's
so
excellent.
that's the cool part.
Is it? I mean, I would bet you guys travel quite a bit, right?
We travel a little bit.
So have you picked up any ideas across the globe that you want to see executed here?
I'm really glad you said that because, so this is going to be Palm Springs. We're bringing Palm Springs to Bardstown, Kentucky, minus the palm trees, even though I've tried that. Everybody tells me they're going to die. We still might buy a few just to say we bought them. But yeah, if you've ever been to Palm Springs, it's going to be a little bit of that feel. And the inspiration is because we have to come back to that mid-century modern flair. And so...
You have like a fern bar?
What's that?
Like a fern bar?
No, it's not going to be that. It's not. So
That's
so,
more 80s, isn't
So,
it? Yeah.
actually, no. You're very close to the mid-century modern, but it's not the shag carpet experience. The
Up
idea,
the wall. Get it up the wall.
Well, there is one room called the Mandel Suite that's going to have some crazy stuff like that. but we haven't talked about that yet. But that's some we're doing on.
Mandel Suite.
But yeah. So no, it's honestly. The shag carpet is no more. The whole idea of the mid-century modern is more focused on the outside of the hotel. We have to keep to some of the original architectural structure of the hotel, but the inside is going to look more the hybrid of modern, update, industrial, bourbon barrels, barn wood meets the mid-century modern.
Which is, for hotels back then, it seems like a lot of concrete going on.
We got concrete, a lot of stained concrete, a lot of beams, a lot of industrial work,
Yeah.
a lot of metals, and then the rooms are going to be super sexy. So
Describe super sexy. You threw it out there.
yeah,
Is it the Mandel room?
yeah, so the rooms are going to
Super
be
sexy.
the rooms are going to be updated with the finest marbles and tile. All the showers going to be updated and expanded. All the rooms are going to be super clean, super unique, very Palm Springs like. Everyone's going to have a little Tunisian flair to them. So it's going to be a really cool approach. All the doors are going to be sort of made out of barn wood, and it's going to be a very cool flair. That when you open up, it's going to have a 75,000 gallon pool, saltwater pool, with a about a 25-person hot tub experience, outdoor caravan, and outdoor swimming pool. Pool bar that you swim up to. So it's going to be some really cool things that we're going to be able to incorporate into this.
And what would an experience like this cost per night? Any idea?
So we're still working on that. All right, based on our logistics, we're telling the bank one number, but we think we're going to be somewhere between the $200 and $350 a night, depending on the suite options.
It's not bad.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
reasonable.
For what it sounds like you're going to do.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of value for what you get.
Now I've got just a couple of minutes. You might want to ask any questions of this guy. No questions for Will?
Just make up something.
The question was from David Mandel. I would like to know more about my suite, the Mandel suite.
We're under an NDA as far as that goes right now. So we're not able to expose any of that at this point. I got to talk to Don about it. There's just some bigger things that are going on behind the scenes about
that stands for no David allowed.
John would like to also be a part of the conversation. I haven't had that chance yet, so. Actually, John is the architect of that room, believe it or not.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, we're going to reserve some of those jokes.
Yeah, that's right.
For later.
That goes deeper.
Well, I'm just thrilled that you guys have. Now where do you live? I know you're from out of town.
Yeah, so we live in Atlanta.
That's right.
My wife and I, we live in Peachtree City, Georgia.
I'm thrilled that you've come back home to do this and make this investment. Because sometimes, again, David has proven that the out-of-towners have to be willing to do this. Yeah. It takes people who can see something not as it is, but what it could be. Cornfield becomes Bardstown Bourbon Company.
Yeah.
And a kitschy old hotel is going to become something really super chic, it sounds like.
Come on, man. Well, yeah, it is. We're super excited about it. And honestly, the community has been fantastic in their support.
That's great.
And their energy behind it. And we got just a great team, and we're ready to rock and roll. So there again, for everybody out there who's looking for an upper, high-end concierge experience on the Bourbon Trail, look at the Trail Hotel. Coming soon.
Oh, I think it's going to be fantastic. Looking forward to 2024 when it opens.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Will. Appreciate you for stepping up.
Appreciate you, brother.
You're so low energy. I know this is going to be a challenge for you.
Well, you made it easy. Thanks.
No, I'm saying your hotel.
Oh, yeah.